Hello and welcome to the boys from the MRC. This is the Infinity Series Season 10 race final. It's race 10 of the series. You join us tonight or today at Bathurst. They are in the Group 3 cars for this final race. This is an hour-long race, endurance. So strategy will come into play here over the 1 hour race. Right, so after 10 minutes of qualifying, I'll just go along here because the sun's quite bright if I try and go for the middle in this early morning. So after 10 minutes, Pirate Jim starts on pole in his pink Mercedes. Pickles in his Genesis in second. In the third we have Osman in the Toyota Supra. In fourth we have Infinity James in the Genesis. In fifth we have Scott in the old Toyota Supra. In sixth we have Mark in the bright pink Mercedes. In seventh we have Ice. Some reason his livery is not loaded up, that's just the stock one from the game. Eighth we have Phil in the McLaren. In ninth we have Surfer in the Nissan. I might blank then. In 10th we have Brucey in the Lexus. In 11th place we have Gary in the McLaren. In 12th we've got Golden Brownie in the Lexus. And in 13th place we have Staffy in the old Toyota Supra. Right, so I can head out there and make sure I'm coming through live. Can you? Coming through live. Yep, you can hear me. Happy days. Right, so let's jump to the front. Obviously, tight first left-hander to start. And let's get these boys underway for the final time at Mount Panama, or Panorama, sorry. Pirate Jim there getting a rocket start off the line, gets through there nicely. Scott there going a bit into Mark, it seems, in turn one. Three wide, Golden Brownie in the middle of the two McLarens, not really anywhere he can go there, and Brucey and Staffy right behind. Obviously the track's not wide enough to go four wide, that's for sure. Golden Brownie there, he's slipped out out the two McLarens there. But Pirate Jim, after going up the mountain straight, has put all out a bit of a lead over Pickles in second place. But James has made the jump over Osman. We all know that Supra's really slow off the line, but it's got good top end speed, smashing into the wall and picking up damage there for Osman. Coming up the top of the hill through Skyline. Ice there in fifth. He's made a few places. I think he started in seventh. Did Ice, and Surfers followed suit as well, picking up a couple of places. Scott stopped down to seventh place. Mark has stayed around the same. Gary there. He's got Brucey looking around the outside, coming around Forest Elbow, down onto Conrod Straight. We've got McLaren Lexus here in a four-way fight for ninth place. The two McLarens there getting out in front of the two Lexus. And there seems to be an accident up ahead. Golden Brownie's gone into Gary, pushed him off. I'll just wait and see where the accident has all happened. Ice there getting taken out by his teammate. Why did he get taken out by his teammate? Let's have a look. On board, he's got Scott looking this way and that. And then Scott just completely forgets to brake and wipes out Surf. Obviously in turn takes out Ice as well, so that's both Nissans to the back of the pack at the end of lap 1. Not what they ordered, that's for sure. They had a great start, making up 3 or 4 positions at the beginning of the race, but as you can see, Jim has already checked out from Pickles. He's got his teammate right behind him, and Osman following closely as well. I think there's going to be a swap there. I think that's because James is on the soft tyres to go and hunt down Jim for that first place, and Pickles is on the mediums. Osman's on the softs as well, so Osman will want to try and get past Pickles to keep up with James. Does look as he's coming up the hill. There's not really much overtaking opportunities over the hill. The only time you have got it is if someone makes contact with the wall and they'll be a bit slow, or they run it wide through skyline there at the top. But it is all about just sticking them behind over this mountain section, and then getting the slipstream down the 2 long straights on this circuit. Mark there in 5th, Scott there in 6th. Choose to not wait for gets a hit from Brucey, but don't think that was on Brucey. Let's have another look. It was very weird because Brucey wasn't really close at all, and Scott kind of lagged back into Brucey and got sent into the wall. That's put Scott down into 9th place, just in front of his teammate Staffy. And Gary there has been caught by Surf already. I don't know if Gary's had a bit of a bad second lap. He's about 5 seconds down or so, and I was there running around at the back. But to finish lap 2, Jim crosses the line in 1st with James in 2nd. Not pulled much of a gap over Pickles in 3rd, and Osman still chasing Pickles' tail in 4th place. Mark there in 5th. Got a bit of a gap between him and Phil in 6th. Golden Brownie in 7th. He's obviously a little bit on his own as well, and Scott there under attack from Brucey. So Brucey waited up for Scott after that incident at Forest Elbow. But can't get anything done through turn 1, when we know that old Supra is quick in a straight line. Staffy there in 10th, Surf in 11th, so he's got past Gary, moving up from that incident that he did have. Gary down in 12th, and Ice in 13th currently. But yeah, Jim there setting, obviously only done 2 laps, but 2:01.8, absolute blistering that time on a full tank of fuel. You'd expect to see them times when he's got less fuel in the car to make it go faster down the 2 main straights, carrying all that extra weight. James there, Osman has got past Pickles. He gets him at the end of the first straight into turn 2. Just pulls up alongside Pickles on the outside, gets it a bit tail happy. Osman there just gets a nice drive coming out of turn 2 and keeps his position, or gains the position, sorry, to 3rd place for Osman. So Pickles now probably just been trying to sit behind and keep with these 2, but obviously being on the racing mediums is going to be a struggle, especially with that car. We all know from the series that I've commentated on that it is a boat to handle and a boat in weight. Mark there, he looks like what is he doing? He's doing about the same lap times, a tenth quicker than Pickles last time around, so he'll just hope that they'll keep on battling a little bit and keep catching up time to the guys in front. I think he might have got a bit caught up with the all the action on lap 1. Phil there in 6th place, kind of in the same boat as Mark. He's got Golden Brownie not too far behind him. Brucey right behind his teammate there. for 7th and 8th. So Brucey got past Scott over the mountain at some point. Sorry, I missed that one. Overtake. Staffy there in 10th place behind his teammate as well. Surfer hasn't been able to catch up to the back of Staffy, but could be trying to play the long game here. He's trying to, what did he do? Yeah, he done the same lap time last time round. So, yeah, I think they're all kind of settling in at the moment for this beginning first stint. It'll be interesting to see who does 2 stops and who does the 1, because the pit lane isn't too bad. I think it's about a 30-second loss in the pits, but that's quite a lot of time to try and gain up, especially when a lot of people will be just using the mediums and the softs and not having to use the hards, because then that's really when you do see the difference in lap times. It's there. He's still doing decent lap time, obviously, but he's on the medium tyres. You can see the medium tyre difference, 206.5 to Jim's 201.8. You know, nearly 5 seconds the difference in the soft and medium tyres just around this track. Jim there still, he's got about a 5 or 6 second lead, I would say, over James there in 2nd place. It's a good start for James so far. Hopefully that'll continue and he can move up the standings table if he can keep it in 2nd place. But obviously with the endurance race you have to use both or 2 different compounds of tyres. So if you're doing the 1 stop, it will be just the softs and the mediums. Osman there in 3rd in the newer Supra, going purple in the first sector, so shows you the top end speed of that car will give him an advantage, but I think it does then lack a little bit of the acceleration, especially coming through like this corner here, uphill, quite a slow left-hander. He's going to struggle and lose time on that purple lap or purple sector that he set for sector 1. Pickles there has been able to stay with Osman in 4th, just grazing the wall, not really smashing it, just grazing it, giving it a little kiss, just letting him know the ball's still there. Mark there in 5th. He did catch up to Pickles the last lap by about 8 tenths. You can see he is closing in, so now Mark's got into a rhythm kind of on his own, but he's got a target of Pickles up ahead that he can see. Phil there in 6th. He's got caught up by Brucey. Brucey's got past Golden Brownie. I know that was kind of not team orders, but Golden Brownie did mess up and just let Brucey pass. No point holding up your teammate when he is quicker than you around certain tracks. But will Brucey try for a move on Phil down to the last couple of corners? He stays on the inside, gets on the curb, but looks like that Macca is just about enough to keep ahead of Brucey, but Brucey's coming back with the raw power of the Lexus, and that's going to allow Golden to catch up to the back of these two, going side by side through 3 or 4 corners there. Absolutely incredible stuff coming through turn 1 now. And Golden Brownie there now. Phil's gone fighting one Lexus to now fighting the other, and Golden Brownie's got past Phil as well, so that's a great little bit of racing there from them 3 guys. No contact required to have some clean racing from them 3, and you've got Scott there just behind, has caught up with them 3 fighting for 6th, 7th and 8th. Staffy there in 10th. He's dropped back from his teammate. But not times. He saved his tyres more than. Oh no, Scott's got past. How did Scott get past Phil? That was happened quickly. Oh, what happened there with Phil? Oh, he just tugs the inside wall and gets caught on it. Gets dragged around the corner, so that's an easy overtake there for Scott to get to 8th place. I'm just looking at tyre wear and fuel. They're both about the same for the older Toyota. And Surfer there still haven't been able to catch up to the back of Staffy. Both on, both on mediums, so yeah, we're setting about the same lap times, 206s, mid 206s for both of them. And Gary's about the same. Obviously, he did have a 207 there on lap 4. And Ice isn't too far behind. He's hitting 205s now, so he's definitely catching up to the guys in front. From that lap 1 incident he had with his teammate that obviously was from Scott flying in. You see that Jim set another purple lap, 201.569. So really flying at the moment. Another purple sector there in sector 1. But you look at his tyre wear and he's already gone through over 50% of his fuel in just 13 minutes of racing. So if he's going to keep that up, he's going to be coming in around the 24-26 minute mark, depending on where he is on the track at the time. So he's either going for the 2-stop or going to then really slow it down when he's on the mediums, just try and open up that massive gap in the first stint. But James there, he's looks like he's pulled away a bit there from Osman in 3rd. Pickles there in 4th. He's really lap 5. He had a bit of a slow lap, so it's allowed Mark, who has been flying. So that Mercedes obviously has now come to life. Obviously he's probably seen Jim, what lap times he's been doing, and thinks, you know what, I can have a bit of that. I can try and see if I can set the fastest lap of the race whilst I'm on the soft tyres. He's got a little bit more fuel than Jim has. His Mark, he's just pipped under the 50% mark, or halfway mark of his fuel gauge. But is he going to be close enough to Pickles down the Conrod straight to have a look into the penultimate corners? No, he can't. He sticks behind. But Wellnan, he'll just stick there behind him for... No, he looks like he's going to go for a move. Is he going to go for a move into the last corner? He does. Gets it very tight, but yeah, can't get the drive coming out. And allows Pickles to go across the line in 4th place still, but still under attack there from Mark is Pickles. So we're going now back up the mountain, and will Mark try and move up the inside into turn 2? I think it's going to be a bit more of a dive if he does. Yeah, he sticks behind him for the moment. Brucey there in 6th place, Golden in 7th. Followed not too far behind is Scott in 8th and Phil in 9th, so them 4 fairly close to each other at the moment. Staffy there still in 10th place. Surfers, he always dips into the 205, so I think he's seen Surfers probably trying to make this a 1-stop with 15 minutes gone, and they're both about halfway on their fuel, so they're probably trying to get to the 30-minute mark to make this a 1-stop race. That's probably why they're going a little bit slower than the rest, but they've obviously done their strategies and think it's the quickest way rather than a 2-stop. Gary there He's got caught by Ice for 12th. Let's see if Ice can do anything about that. McLaren down the Comrade straight. Just looking up there, Mark's still behind Pickles. I don't think that's going to change there, but at the end, lap 8 and the start lap 9, Jim has got a fairly healthy lead at the moment. Let's have a look at James across the line. Yeah, he's got a 10-second lead or so after just 8 laps. Pickles comes into the pit. You know, he's got rid of them mediums, but look at them softs on James's car compared to the softs on Jim's. You can see that Genesis really does not like its tyres. Osman there, he's on softs, and yeah, he's still got a lot more on his tyres than James has. So will Osman try and go to the halfway mark of the race before he has to pit? We shall see, because James has got less fuel and less tyres than Osman, so I think James will try and do the 2-stop. I think Jim will do the same as well, because he's only got about 25% of fuel left in his tank. So Mark up to 4th place now with Pickles pitting, so we'll see how that unravels when he comes out of the pits, when Mark comes out of the pits. Brucey there in 5th. Been able to just pull away a little bit there from his teammate Golden Brownie, who's also been able to fill a little bit of a gap between him and Scott. Phil there still following closely behind of Scott. Obviously any little mistakes, you know, tags of walls, getting a bit of damage, you can easily lose that, you know, second and a half gap you've got between you and the car behind. And Staffy there in 9th. He would say it's fastest lap of the race with a 2:05.6, and Surfers went 2 tenths quicker. Pickles has picked up a 4.5 second penalty, so it was a 3-second penalty for the pits, and potentially in the last sector or so he's cut the corner and picked up another 1.5 seconds, or it could even be on the pit entry. Sometimes you can get extra penalties on this track. So Ice there, he's got past Gary. Will he get past Pickles? It looks like he will, because Pickles has just served it and getting back up to speed. So Ice up into 11th. Will Gary get past Pickles as well? So it's really going to hamper Pickles in his fight with Mark for 4th place it was. Gary goes up the inside of Pickles. Pickles didn't have much there to defend against with Gary. I think he just thought he'd just let him go by. Kind of ruined his race at the moment with that penalty, but we'll see if anyone else picks up a penalty later on when they come in. But obviously already Pickles fighting back past Gary into turn 1. It's a nice move there from Pickles, and now he's going to have Ice to catch up to. See what he can do about Ice when he gets there. He's only about 2.5 seconds behind him at the moment. Jim just coming down the Comrade straight, where you see Pickles has just started going up the mountain, so it shows you how far Jim has pulled out a gap. You know, when you're doing laps of 201s and 202s for, you know, like 10 laps solid, you're going to be pulling out a fairly healthy lead over 2nd place. James has been setting 202s, but not one lap in the 201s, especially when you're on the soft tyre as well. It's when you want to be making the most of it. Does James come into the pit? No, he does not. Osman goes round again as well. Mark looks like he'll go round. Brucey there in 5th. His tyres and fuel are getting low. Golden Brownie is about the same. He's up a bit more tyres as Golden Brownie than his teammate. Excuse me. Scott there in 7th. Just dropped off the back. Oh, Brucey does come into the pit. So Brucey done 10 laps and decided to come in. So is this now where all the 2 stoppers will be coming in the next couple of laps, like 10, 11 and 12 potentially, to then come in again at about 40 odd minutes into the race, 40-45 minutes, to then go to the end of the race on probably the softer tyre. Phil there dropped off the back of Scott. He's hardly touched his tyres. You can near enough do the whole race on one set of tyres by the looks of that. The only thing that's going to let him down is the fuel. So Seth is now up to 8th, so I believe that would be that Staffy has pitted. 2:16, unless he's had an incident. I would say that Staffy has pitted. No, because Brucey's pitted. And he's got a red number and Staffy hasn't. So Staffy's had an incident on the last lap. Lost him about 10 seconds. Ice there with a 2:10 as well, so Ice has had potentially got caught up with the incident with Staffy. Pickles there technically at the moment is the leading person who has pitted. Jim has now come into the pit, 5% of fuel left, so he would not be able to do another lap, that's for sure, but we'll see where Jim comes out in relation with Pickles. I know there was about a 10-second, oh wait, Pickles was 4th, wasn't he, so there's probably about a 15-second gap between him and Jim when they came in, but Pickles did have that penalty to serve. So that's James, Osman and Mark gone through. Golden Brownie there, his fuel light is flashing. Will he come into the pit this lap? It looks like he will. Scott goes round again. It's an absolute horrible pit lane. So Scott goes wide coming out of the last corner. Jim is out of the pits and away he goes. He's on the race in mediums. He's only put about 65% of fuel into the tank, so he's obviously just doing a short stint on the mediums to then go back to the softs and see if he can beat that fastest lap and hopefully try and get the hat trick of the pole, fastest lap and the win. We will see. We still got 36 minutes to go of the race. It has started to spread out a bit at the moment with people taking pit stops. There is not much happening with everyone. It looks like Osman's been able to catch up to the back of James a little bit, doing 2:03s, 2:04. It's about the same actually. Sorry, it's about the same. I think it's been twist and turning between 2 and 3 seconds between the two of them. Mark there, looks like he'll be coming to the pit same as James. They're both running very low on fuel. Scott there, definitely be going for the one stop. Phil could probably be in the same boat as well, going for the one stop, seeing he's still got loads of tyre left and still got about 20% of his fuel. He's only got to do technically another 6 minutes, so another 3 laps, and he'll get to the halfway stage of the race. Surfer will be doing the same as well. We've been caught by Pickles now, so Pickles now getting them tyres up to temperature. It's not like it's going to take long in the Australian heat, but James and Mark are both into the pit. Pickles there getting past Surfer, so it shows that Genesis is so much quicker than the Nissan down the main straight, or back straight. That's Pickles up to 7th, Surfer in 8th. Ice there in 9th. He hasn't pitted yet, so he's worked his way back up a couple of positions now. Obviously, with some people pit in and some people not. Gary there in 10th, getting closely followed by his nice friend Brucey. All season, these two, you can't tear them apart. We'll see. Obviously, Gary hasn't pitted yet, and Brucey has. So Gary will be coming in a fairly shortly. So Brucey will probably try and want to get the overtake done before Gary comes into the pits, just to have one up on him for the race. Stuffy there in 12th place. He's still not pitted either. And Golden Brownie, who has pitted and come out in 13th place. So Osman there, fuel light is on. He needs to do another lap, I would say, before thinking about coming into the pit, but we'll stay with him to see if he does, because if he doesn't, then I don't think he's going to be able to make the one-stop work. But really slowing it down there into the penultimate corners and coming up to the last corner. No, he's not going to come into the pit. He's not over to the left-hand side of the racetrack, so Osman will go around for another lap. So he'll be coming in at about 29 minutes of the race gone. So there are 31 minutes to go on a full tank and racing mediums, but so Jim has got to catch up. Let me have a look when he crosses the line, see how far Osman is. About 13-14 seconds Jim's got to catch up, because Osman will be doing the one stop and Jim's doing the two stop. So probably good that Jim isn't running a very long medium tyre, just enough to then run then the softs to the end. He's got to make it probably to lap, I would say 19 on the mediums, which will then be enough to get him to the end of the race when he makes his pit stop for the softs. Scott there, looks like he'll probably go to about 30, probably end of lap 15 before we think about pitting. So lap 15 or maybe even 16, depending on how much he can really stretch that fuel out these next couple of laps. Mark there, he's got James right up behind him, so Mark's made his pit stop and he's come out in front of James, so it's giving James something to look at and try and chase down. And James is on the soft tyres, does just tap the wall there coming up the hill, and Mark's on the medium, so James will be able to catch up over the mountain. You can already see he's caught up that time he lost from just tapping the ball at the beginning of the uphill part of the mountain. Now they're coming down the hill through the dipper and round to Forest Elbow. Will James be able to make anything of it down the Comrade Straight? Stick with him. I don't think the Genesis will be able to have much answer of that Merc. So Osman's coming to the pit. Let's say about 29 minutes, wasn't far off on the timings, but yeah, that Mercedes is just rapid in a straight line. The Genesis having no answer at all, so James really going to have to do it to get really close over the mountain to try and do anything about getting past that Mercedes on a straight line. Pickles there, he's closed up to the back of James, but obviously he is on the soft tyres now compared to James being on the mediums. Osman's still in the pit, but he's going to be filling it right up to the top, pitting on a set of mediums. Where does he come out? Just behind Pickles, so he hasn't lost too much time. But that'll be Osman now till the end of the race, as long as he can doesn't run out of fuel. And Phil there, his fuel light's flashing, so he'll be coming in at the end of this lap, same as Surfer. So Surfer's really caught up to the back of Phil and goes for the move up into turn 2. Gets it done nicely there on Phil. So Surfer's really on the charge after that one incident that he had. Absolutely flying, but what's Phil? They're both on the medium tyres as well, so they'll both be coming out on the softs and see how these two fare when they change the compound. Brucey there in 9th place, he's got past Ice, who still has to pit. But Ice will be going to the soft tyre to the end of the race. Staffy there, he'll have to pit the end of this lap as well. Golden Brownie, he's got half a tank of fuel on his medium tyres. in 12th place, and Gary there in 13th place. He's just, when did he come in? He came in on lap 13, so hopefully he can make it to the end of the race. He might have to go save a little bit more fuel than he did in the first stint. Obviously it's harder to tell because we can't get all the information that we'd like from Gran Turismo on that, but Scott has come into the pit. Zero fuel, hardly any tyre wear on his car at all, but he's going to make the one stop work. But Jim there, absolutely miles ahead. He's the whole of the mountain straight ahead of his teammate Mark in second place. That's how far he is. He's 23 seconds ahead of his teammate after just over half an hour of racing. So really impressive stuff there from Jim at the moment. Just a little bit with these two, let's have a quick drinks break. Right, so back at it. You've got there Mark, James and Pickles all fighting for second place in this final race of the season. It's been an absolute incredible season between everyone in this league. So competitive, fairly clean, hardly any real incidents that the stewards have had to look into. I was going there in 5th. After making his pit stop, he's got obviously a bit of a gap between him and the three in front, but he's not really too worried about that. At least he can see them, so knowing they're going to have to all pit again, I would say he's clear of them three at the moment. It could all change. He could have to really save fuel, and them three really catch up once they've made their second pit stop. Brucey there in 6th. He's doing quite well on this second stint. Keeping it in 6th place. He's still not pitted. He will have to pit this lap. He's going to be coming into the pit with zero fuel. But that'll be, what's that, 34, so that'll be 26 minutes left of the race to go. And yeah, so we're going to have to put a whole tank of fuel in the car. So that will save him a bit of time compared to others that have had to put a full tank in. But Scott's coming through there, 1% of fuel, so I wasn't far off saying you'd have come in with 0. But Scott's made his pit stop, he's one and only one, and he's into 7th place. How far is he behind Brucey? He's about 10 seconds or so behind Brucey. He's just ahead of Golden Brownie, but Golden Brownie will have to pit again. He has not got enough fuel to make it to the end, so he's gone for the 2-stop strategy. Both Lexus has, to be fair. Phil there, he's just done his pit stop, he's gone back round, so Surfer, I've missed Surfer as well. So Surfer up to 9th, he's made his one pit stop. He'll be going to the end as well for this race. So I'd say in the next 10 minutes when everyone's made their second pit stop, and the guys that made their one stops, we will see who is kind of where they need to be, or where they will line up till the end of the race. So there may be a few places changed through incidents and penalty points, but it's kind of all spread out a little bit at the moment. Phil there in 10th, Ice in 11th after making his pit stop, Gary in 12th, and Staffy in 13th. Not too far behind Gary and Ice. These three are fairly close to each other. If you look on the mini map, they are all on that bottom left hand side of the track, but Jim there obviously struggling to lay down some quick laps with the racing mediums here, 204s, 203s, but it's enough to keep himself probably pulling away from. Yeah, he's going low 203s, where James, Mark, and Pickles are fighting. But I've just noticed that James has got past Mark. When did that happen? Nope, that's the one I wanted. So James finally did get the run that he needed on Mark. Mark's got damage. That'll be why he probably hit the exit of Forest Elbow. That's what James needed to get past Mark into the penultimate corners. We jump back up to where we were. But it looks like Mark will be coming in at the end of this lap. His fuel light is flashing. James has got over half a tank, and Pickles has got quarter of a tank. So kind of, you don't really want to fight, but you don't know what the car around you have got for fuel and tyre wear. But Pickles' tyres are dying. He's probably got about 4 or 5 laps left on them tyres until they're really going to be struggling to get round any left-handers. But James has been able to check out from Mark. I think Mark's probably having to try and save a little bit of fuel just to make sure he gets to the pit entry. But he is holding up Pickles here, going down the hill through the dipper through Forest Elbow. Excuse me. Pickles really get the drive like James did the last lap round. Jim there comes into the pits, so Pickles pulls to the inside, pulls round past Mark. So looks like the two Mercedes boys as well will be doing the same strategy. I think Mark's on the mediums as well. Yeah, they're both on the soft one. They've both done the mediums, but Mark should pull into the pit behind, as he does. Yeah, looks like Mark's only coming into the pit with 0 fuel. He's got nothing on there yet, 0 fuel as he comes into the pit. But Osman now comes around the last corner and will probably go up to 3rd place, because Jim's just still filling up. See how far he pulls out in front of Jim. He's putting in 100% of fuel. Jim's just pulling out, so here we go. You can just see in the background there, Jim is. I'll come back the next time round to get a time gap between the two of them. Mark's in the pit, Brucey's into the pit, and Golden's into the pit. He picked up a 3-second penalty coming in. So Scott's going around into 5th place now. Obviously we know he doesn't have to stop, so the guys that have stopped have now got to try and catch up to Scott and obviously Jim. And obviously I do believe that Osman will be trying to go to the end as well, so James and Pickles will probably drop back behind Osman and Jim when pitted. Obviously they'll come out fairly close with Mark here, who they'd only just overtaken with the last couple of laps before he came in. Surfer there in 7th. There's Brucey behind, so Brucey's not too far behind Surfer. So that'd be a battle for 7th for the last 20 minutes, I would say. The Surfer will be trying to save fuel, but Brucey, he's got a full tank of fuel, a fresh set of boots, and he's off. He's going to unleash the beast of that Lexus. He's got Phil behind him, who has just picked up damage on the front left. Probably turn 2 he's picked up the damage, I would say. Golden Brownie there with his 3-second penalty for the pit entry, cutting across the line. So I know it was a bit of a nightmare keeping it between the lines. I really couldn't do it. But he's got Ice there behind him, who's probably just going to sit behind until Golden serves the penalty down the Conrod straight. Stuffy there in 12th with Gary not far behind him. So battle for 12th and 13th place. But I did notice that Pickles has come into the pit, so James is now the lone wolf out the front who has not pitted. I do believe that he's probably the last one to pit for the second time. because Osman is going to try and make it to the end. Jim's already pitted. So what is the time difference? There's about 6 seconds between Osman and Jim. So that's all he's got to try and catch up in this last 20 minutes of the race. Let's see if he can do it. Scott there in 4th place. Obviously had a incident lap 1, but he's been able to keep his nose clean since then and stick to his race strategy. Pickles has come out in 5th place. He's got Scott I can't tell because he's on his out lap, so I'll have to check back in a lap's time to see how far Pickles is behind. I would say he's only about the same again as Pirate Jim is behind Osman, of about 4 or 5 seconds gap between the two of them, maybe a tiny bit more. Mark there in 6th, he's made his pit stop, he's come back out. He's going to the end of the race, that's for sure. Surfer there, obviously on his one stop. He's pulled out from Brucey. What's happened with Brucey? He's had a bit of a... I think Brucey might have had a bad out lap. 2:26. What was Golden? No, Golden's was 2:31, so... What was Mark's? 2:27. Okay, so Brucey had a good out lap, just because he was come out when he is pitted. I swear he was behind Surfer. So yeah, Brucey's had an incident this lap. Let's have a look. That's what's happened with Brucey. Oh, turn 1. I was looking at the lap times thinking he's got on the power coming out of turn 1. Gets it on the grass, gets it, you get back on the track and then it'll get going again. But yeah, so that battle he was going to try and catch up to Surf for 7th place is now made a lot harder just from that turn 1 incident. I don't think you probably can't even see Surf now in front, but you can see Phil, so you can try and gain back up to 8th place after that little incident that he had there. All done by himself, dropped it, but you can get going, pick yourself back up, and on you go. Ice there in 10th, so it's done well after the turn lap 1 incident of dropping to the back. And Golden Brownie there, obviously serving his 3-second penalty. Ice has got past him on the last lap. Staffy there in 12th. He's been caught a little bit by Gary, is he? Yeah, a little bit by Gary, not too much, but at least they've got a little fight there for 12th and 13th place. James there, looks like his tyres, I think he might come into the bit just to get a fresh set of tyres to go to the end of the race rather than really struggling on a worn set of softs. He might as well come in halfway through the stint. We've got about 8 or 9 laps of the race to go, so yeah, seeing that he came in on lap 12, he's done 9 laps. He's going to go round again, but Jim has got past Osman, which you just noticed it as I was talking about James trying to potentially come into the pit, but Jim goes to the inside of Osman and he does get it into the penultimate corners, so he is pretty much guaranteed first place as long as he can keep it there. And obviously we know Jim's going to pit sometime soon, but I will jump on board with Jim for a flying lap. So turn 1 here, left 90-degree left-hander, enemy start, the long drag up mountain straight. See, he's already pulling a gap over Osman already. You can see it on the track map on the bottom right. Just slowly pulling away over the little rise there. Get to the 100-metre board and just after that slam the brakes on into the right-hander, turn 2. It's still going up the hill. Keep going up over the hill all the way here. This is a horrible little corner. You've got to get this one right. You either send it out wide or you end up hitting the ball on the inside, which I've seen a few times. And then carry on up the hill. Fast section there, this bit. Just lifting off the throttle a little bit there, through here up to Skyline. And then as you go through Skyline here, then you start dropping back down the hill, the other side. Downhill braking with corners does not help through the dipper. Gets it nicely through there, boots it down towards Forest Elbow. Another horrible corner. If you've missed your braking point by a couple of metres, you're hitting the old barrier. And now we come down Conrod Straight. You will sometimes see, I think it is on the right hand side, that it is a kangaroo hopping around the fields. One of the little Easter eggs in Gran Turismo. We come through this right hand into the penultimate corners here. Of the left, right, and then you come under the Armorall Bridge into the final corner, which is part of a real road. This part from the final corner to, as you can see just ahead, the road carries straight on. That is actually real road. It's not actually part of a racetrack. But thank you, Jim, for the last flying lap of the season. James there, still out in first place, hasn't pitted in yet. Fairly soon he will be coming in. Jim in second. He's obviously pulled out about a 4 or 5 second lead already over Osman, just over one lap. Scott there in fourth. He has got Pickles closing down on him fairly quickly. See if Pickles can do it. Get back up to fourth place for him to the end in the final race here. Went 2 tenths quicker on his own personal best as well in the first sector. Mark there in 6th. Surfer coming through turn 1 in 7th place. Phil there in 8th. Brucey there not been able to catch up to Phil after that little incident he had on lap 20. So yeah, not going to do much about Phil. Ice there in 10th place. He has pulled out from Golden Brownie in 11th. Staffy there, is he catching up? No, he's not catching up to Golden Brownie. He's dropped off a little bit from the back of Golden Brownie. Gary there coming into the pit again. I'm not really sure why. I thought the one stop was going to work out well for him, or has he not used the medium tyres, which actually stay on board with him at the moment because there's no one too close battling. Let's see what tyres he comes out on. He comes back out on the set racing soft, so he might be trying to think of going for the fastest lap, but I don't think that McLaren's got the top end speed to match the Mercedes of Jim and Mark. But James there, he's just behind Gary, so after Gary's made that pit stop, James is not too far behind, but James will be coming in probably at the end of this lap with his fuel light flashing red. So he's definitely the last of the 2 stoppers, is James. I thought he would have probably tried to do this in 2 rather than having to go really long on the set of stops, because he probably has lost a little bit of time. Not really actually. That 15 was a 203.4 and in the last one was a 203.2, so he hasn't really lost much time, even though the tyre wear has gone down dramatically since that 15. But Jim there is well out ahead of Osman. He is 10 seconds, he's now ahead of Osman. And Osman is about 12 seconds ahead of Scott. But Scott is still getting closed down by Pickles. Pickles is wanting his 4th place. Started in 2nd, so he has dropped back a few places as Pickles, but getting a 4th place is always nice. Obviously 1 step off the podium, but yeah, especially when you've got 10 minutes to go and you can see the guy is only 2-3 seconds ahead of you. It's definitely a nice little carrot to be chasing. Mark there in 6th. So Mercedes having a fairly decent race there for 2nd and 6th. So yeah, James has come into the... James comes out in comparison with Mark and Pickles, because that's where he was when them two kind of came in. So we'll see if running along on that set of softs has paid dividends for him or if it has backfired. So for there in 7th, still got a bit of a gap between him and Phil. Lucy there in 9th. Bit of a gap between him and Ice, who are doing about the same lap times as well. Cohen and Brownie there doing decent-ish lap times, 204s. Staffy there, obviously we know he's saving tyres and fuel. You probably push it now. Don't have to worry about saving fuel. You've got just under half your tank with only 9 minutes of the race to go. And Gary there now is on his first proper flying lap after he had pitted, so we'll see what his lap time is comparison to Jim's. James has come out in 3rd place, just ahead of Scott, so that's worked out fairly well for James. He's been able to leapfrog his teammate and the one stopping Scott, so it really has paid. It's hard because obviously you've got Jim who's 2 stopped, Osman's 1 stopped, James is 2 stopped, Scott's 1 stopped, Pickles is 2 stopped, Mark's 2 stopped. Yeah, so a real mix of strategies there for the top 6. You've got 2 1-stoppers and 4 2-stoppers, and the 2-stoppers actually worked out better, would you believe? But this is the battle for 3rd place between James, Scott and Pickles. Scott being in the middle of a Genesis sandwich. We do like our sandwiches in this series. There always seems to be one on track somewhere. At the end of this race I will be doing the standings for the season with the manufacturer's points as well. So now James is being caught up by Scott here. He's on the racing medium, so that will be why. Did he start on the softs? Yes, James did, didn't he? James started on the softs and Pickles was on the medium, so that's why James went as long as he could on the softs in that 2nd stint. But he's going to try and probably hold up that Supra as much as he can, so that give Pickles a fighting chance to get that 3rd spot. So now we are battling for the last step on the podium. Scott there runs it, gets past, but runs it a little bit deep. Not really much that James can do to try and fight back to get past him. But will James just let Pickles by, seeing he's on the slower tyre? They swapped positions at the beginning of the race when James got up to the back of Pickles, so I would assume, being team orders, they'll probably let each other back past. Unless James can really put some pressure on Scott here. James smashes into the wall. Does let Pickles by. So Pickles is now the attacker on Scott for that final spot on the podium. Really close up to the back of Scott there. Coming through the dip of it, loses the back end. James there probably just going to sit behind, not try and make any moves on Pickles. Just going to lose time to Scott when you've only got just less than 6 minutes of the race to go. And you want to keep every 10th you can to the back end of that car in front. But where it is, Jim is just coming across the line to start lap 27. It looks like he's got Gary just in front of him. Osman there in 2nd. He looks like he's getting caught by these 3. They're doing 204s, 203s, and he's doing 206, 207s. And they're only about 6 or so seconds behind, maybe even less. So this could real twist into tail or the end of this race if they can try and even potentially get second place. Obviously they don't want to be fighting too hard, but Pickles has really dropped off the back of Scott through these two long straights. We know how good that Supra is down a straight. Seeing that what's he's doing at 200 metres, he's doing 150, he's doing 148, 149, so only a mile or two an hour difference, but I think the Supra gets up to that speed a lot quicker than the Genesis does. I'll just go through the field to see if there has been any changes. Chris there, Ice, Golden, Staffy and Gary, so no, there's not been any changes. Gary's now getting the blue flags for Jim coming up behind him, but yeah, Gary still setting 205s, 206s even after putting on a nice fresh set of softs. So that Macca really struggling around here for a quick lap time. Yeah, there's Osman in second, and here comes Scott in third, Pickles in fourth and James in fifth. So you got Mark just behind, but not close enough. He's been in sixth for the majority of this race as Mark, and just not been able to catch up to the guys in front. All been doing about the same lap times as each other. So I think James will probably finish in fifth place, seeing that he's on the mediums, but they are catching up to Osman, and with 3 minutes to go they're going to have this, they're going to have 2 more laps to do when they come across the line. And Scott there is definitely catching up to Osman. Let's have a look when he's crossed the line. Yeah, about 3 seconds I would say between the two of them, so at the end of this lap Scott will be on the back end of Osman. So it'll be the new Supra against the old Supra. See who will come out on top. I think Pickles is a bit too far behind, but if them two start scrapping, that will bring Pickles right into the fight for that second spot. So I would go through the rest, but there's not really much action between anyone else. And someone is spinning at the top of the hill. It's Jim. What is Jim doing? He gets it on the grass. That's a 720. That's a 1080. And then smashes it into the wall to get going again. A nice little 1080 spin there from Jim. Doing a bit of dancing just to celebrate. A bit too early, I would say. You don't want to be doing any damage on your car either. But he has got a fairly healthy lead, so probably not too worried about it. That damage will clear after about 30 seconds of the incident. So we've already got halfway down this straight. That damage will clear for Jim, but that's not what you want to be doing with only 2 minutes left of the race. But I'll say if he was in Osman's position there, he lost about 10 seconds I would say. He would have probably dropped him right behind James, but Pickles has been able to catch up to the back end of Scott. Scott's clearly not had a decent part over the top of the hill, because he should have been able to catch up to Osman, because he has been about 3 seconds a lap quicker. But here they come down to the penultimate corners. Pickles not been able to do much. That Supra is just too quick in a straight line. And the Genesis has got nothing on it, but James has been dropped off the back of this pack, but 1 lap to go, and there is the battle for second place of Osman, Scott and Pickles. Which one is that's Jim there, so I'll keep an eye on the timer and see who's going to come across the line, but we'll stick with this battle with Osman, Scott and Pickles, and Jim being just the watchman at the back. Scott's there, he's running on red fuel. Pickles has still got fuel to burn. Osman is running on red as well, so these two will be potentially trying to save a little bit of fuel, but Scott Sayers defending into two left-handers here of turn 3 and 4. I don't know what Pickles is going to be able to do about Scott. He's got to really try and force an error of Scott over the mountain to gain anything, because I don't think he's going to be able to get past him coming down the Commonwealth Straight. Right, we are on the final lap, so who is coming across the line? Staffy's coming across the line to finish in 12th place. Jump back with these guys until the next guy comes along. But yeah, Scott's been able to catch up to the back of Osman, so will we be able to have a last corner dive for second place, or will Osman been able to keep it? It shows you how close. After 1 hour of racing, you got second, third, fourth and fifth all within, you know, a couple of seconds of each other. Oh, I have just missed Gary. Let's watch Gary come across the line. In the last race, I want to watch everyone come across the line so they'll get their moment of fame. So there's Gary coming across the line in 13th. Jim, after an incredible performance, fastest lap, the pole, and now the win at Bathurst. Absolutely incredible. I'm going to jump back because Scott is now, looks like he's got a move done on Osman into the penultimate corners. He goes on the inside. Oh, Osman defends it. Does give him room. Will that give Pickles a chance to get past Osman? Looks like Pickles has lost it. Pickles has lost it and smashed it into the wall. What happened to Pickles? How did Pickles lose that? Did he get onto the power too early? Oh, he touched that tiny bit of grass. And that was it. The card's absolutely gone. Absolutely gone, but that's giving Scott second place, just getting past Osman in the last couple of corners. But Scott finishes second, Osman third, James in fourth. Mark's been able to get ahead of Pickles. So Mark sitting in sixth place for the whole of the race, near enough, finishes in fifth. Pickles in sixth. Surfer coming down to the last corner for the final time to come along in seventh. So a pretty good result after the lap 1 incident for Surf there. I think he'll be happy with that. Probably could have done obviously a couple of places up potentially. Brucey there getting tail happy out of the last corner to come home in 8th place. Ice there coming across the line in 9th. Phil comes across the line in 10th. Looks like he's run out of fuel. And Golden Brownie, the last one to come across the line in 11th place. Obviously, if you enjoyed watching this, then obviously please leave a like and subscribe. And obviously I will wait for this to go back to the grid, and I will go through the table for the season. Right, so let me change the camera angle. There we go. Right, so in 16th place was Osman's teammate Smoky Tom with 43 points. In 15th was Wacky Racer in the Porsche with 65 points. In 14th place was Surfer with 95 points. I know Surfer missed a couple of rounds. In 13th place was Infinity Graphics in the other Porsche with 132 points. Also on 132 points is Golden Brownie in 12th place. In, I think that's 6th. Let me go on to the thing. It's not worked properly, is it? Yeah, in 12th place. In 11th is Staffy on 141 points. In 10th we had Ice, also on 141 points. So them two were both joint. In 9th place we had Gary with 148 points. In 8th place we had Brucey with 160 points. And then there's a big jump up now to 7th place, and it was James, the organiser, the boss of the Infinity League, on 204 points. In 6th place is the Ozman with 216, and he did miss 3 rounds at the beginning as well, so pretty incredible stuff to get 6th place in the championship with only doing 7 rounds of the season. In 5th place we have Scott on 234 points, and in 4th place we have Phil with 248 points. In 3rd, so bronze, we have Mark on 252, so only 4 points between him and Phil. And then we have the cream of the crop, we have Jim, the race winner of Bathurst and round 1 at, was it, no, it was Phil at round 1, I can't think what round that Jim won. Oh, I think it was Dragon Trail. Moaned that he wasn't quick, and then goes and absolutely smashes the lap times. He finished in 2nd place on 315 points, but your championship winner was Pickles on 321 points. There's 6 points between the two of them. If Pickles had messed up a little bit more, maybe at the end of that race, it could have really swung the tables around. And for the championship of the manufacturers, Porsche finished in 8th place with 197. Nissan finished, there's Nissan, so that one, why won't it let me, will it not let me look at the side of the car? No. Okay, so I'll just go from the back. Yeah, Nissan on 236. And then we had Toyota Gazoo Racing on 259. We had Lexus, right on Team Lexus, Brucey and Golden. Sorry for the car choice, Brucey. It was shocking. 292 points. In 4th we had Toyota on 375. In 3rd we had McLaren on 396, and in 2nd place was Genesis on 525 points, but finishing first in the constructors was Mercedes on 567 points. That is it for the Infinity Series of Season 10. Obviously, look out for the future of the next season of Infinity, Season 11. I think there will be a touring car championship in between this season and the next Infinity. So obviously keep your eyes out and keep them peeled on the MRC page, and obviously on here for any commentary on that in the future. Obviously, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one. Bye bye.